Hi guys, how are you doing? It's been such a long time. I don't think I've recorded for maybe 3 weeks, and maybe I uploaded something a week ago. So I really want to apologize for all of you who have not seen me in a long time and maybe are not following me on other platforms on social media. But I have been around, and some of you may know. By the way, I'm JCK, and this is Quantum Truths JCK. So this is my first moment by myself in many weeks. I'm always, I'm always busy and with someone. I am in the middle of packing and unpacking and decluttering and basically making a brand new life. And this is huge. So it really is a massive overhaul, a massive spring clean. We are essentially we're in spring here down under, and I thought this would be a perfect opportunity for me to press record and just share with you some of my thoughts that have been going on in my head while I've been decluttering, and just all the little tiny details that I've been assessing in my life. And I reached out yesterday on social media, and I think everybody seems to be going through something similar. Maybe not on the scale that I am, but definitely this sense of reassessing everything and sifting through old things. And I've got to say, even though you haven't seen me, I really, really, truly feel I am the happiest I've ever been in my life, because I feel as though I'm making progress. I feel as though this is what I want. This is the stuff that I'm working towards. I know that the actions I'm taking now are going to bear fruit. And, it's not always about um, ambition to make money, but perhaps even just little ambitions that you might have to just get your life feeling more stable. Um, so basically what's been happening, I think a lot of people know that were several planets in retrograde. And what happens during retrogrades is that there's a turning back. There's kind of like this influence, allegedly, that we as humans in this realm, we are influenced by these planetary positions, and it feels as though everything is taking longer. But there's also this aspect of reflecting, maybe reflecting on past loves when Venus went in retrograde. Um, Communication kind of uh, being stunted, or things progress being delayed. But during that time, there's this moment where you feel as though you've got an opportunity to reflect on the past and reassess and work out what you're going to do moving forward when the planets get back into their normal positions. And if that's what you want to call it, planets, whatever these luminaries are in the sky that affect us in this matrix. So basically, I think there's a lot of people who've been feeling that, and that's why often there's this collective sense of doing the same thing. There's this feeling of we're all kind of feeling this influence. What I am sensing, or what I am experiencing, is as I, reorganize my spice rack. I mean, honestly, it's down to every single little detail. I'm not just going through renovations and I got furniture everywhere and having to move out of my apartment. I finally put in my notice so that I can leave, and I'm moving to a smaller space. Okay, so I'm moving to a smaller space, a smaller home, and it's smaller than my apartment. So I have to declutter. I have to get rid of the other stuff. And I just think this is such, it's a metaphor for myself. It's this clearing of the past and stepping into something new. Um, I know that in dream analysis, the house represents the self. In psychology, the house represents the self. When you do little doodles, you can analyze a person's drawings. Like if you ask them to draw a house, you can see how they see themselves, the way they draw the house. Um, and so this is like a metaphor for what's going on in myself. I feel as though my apartment represented, a different stage in my life. It represented maybe single life or busy, working mum, that kind of thing. And it was not homey. I mean, I made it homey, but it felt very businesslike, and it was sort of this feeling of an interim place that I was staying at, and having to declutter and downsize all the things that I have there and assess everything. I'm looking back over the last 3 years of when I first moved there, when I first started my channel, how I moved there and what were the circumstances, and having to take down all of that. Um, Assessing, what is it that I spent my time and money on, and things that are of no use to me, things that are not important. It's such an intense process, and it takes forever. And it's not a case of just throwing things in a box, taping it up, and bringing it to the new place, because the new place I've been working on for ages. I'm putting furniture and I have to rearrange everything, but it's a new. There's no. I don't have a garage here. I have to build things. I have to make things look the way I want them to, and organize our lives so that they're more effective. And it's amazing because I see this as a metaphor. This house is me. It represents me. It represents a new look. It represents the humble me. It represents the cozy cottage individual me. It represents a new beginning. There's parts of it that I needed to fully overhaul and renovate. And there's parts that I loved and I just needed to polish up a little bit more. There's other parts that need to be built, brand new things that need to be built. And while I'm sifting through this clutter, and it's accumulated clutter, it's stuff that I didn't deal with when I left. It's possessions that I didn't deal with. It's boxes of things that I didn't look at, that I just ran away and left behind. I have to look at it now. I have to assess, do I want this? Do I need this? Who else can use this? Down to, like I said, my spice rack. Looking at the spices and going, do I use these spices? And, kind of putting them in brand new jars and making it neat and tidy and cleaning up and throwing things out you don't need. Looking at my vitamins, looking at, do I need these vitamins? Looking at my, my pantry, reorganizing everything. Now, reorganizing my daughter's books and things for homeschooling, and all of her materials, her toys, the toys she's outgrown, the clothing she's outgrown. Making the home more livable, making the home in a space of organization, so that even my entire routine is more effective. This is the stuff that I'm going through right now. And as a family, overhauling old routines where maybe you were just getting by. Like a lot of you out there will feel as though this is what your life is like. It's like you just got to get on with things. So you're just busy. You don't ever look at what needs to be changed. You just try to squeeze in breakfast when you can, and you rush out the door and you do your things, and you never look at the routine to see whether or not it's working for all of you. That our modern life isn't working, and the stress, which has taken a toll on me. And I'll say this, that while I pushed myself through and pushed and worked, burning the candle at both ends during the start of my channel, and at the time I was, a single mum, and I was trying to do 100 things at once, look after my daughter, and try to do all of these things. I burned myself out very badly. Um, I now am getting treated, with natural medicine, and it appears as though I've burnt my adrenals out, and so I have triggered I've triggered chronic fatigue. So I've been fatigued. So having to do all of this assessing and overhauling while you're fatigued is quite it's like one step forward, two steps back sometimes. But yet I'm happy, if that makes sense, because I know that I'm solving the issue once and for all. So things that I wasn't looking at are now being rectified. And I know that while I'm not creating the content that's going on in my head that I want to create, and I'm not doing the interviews that I want to do, I know that this is so important that if I get these foundations right, if I can fix these foundations, I will be able to have the best life that I can moving forward. And that best life is not necessarily earning millions of dollars and being successful and on the outside. It's waking up in the morning and having the routine of going for a walk, with my family. And it's the idea of having a set routine for bedtime that we never had before. It's knowing that I am organized when I can do my work, my interviews, knowing that I have a space for my studio to do my work, and that I have a time when I buy my groceries and I do this. All of these little things that seem normal to other people, I didn't have before. I kind of was just hit the ground running, and I was kind of just doing things as they came to me, because I was very against routines, and that's an old childhood wound that I've spoken about before. But all of this is necessary. So imagine that you have these things that you've not been looking at, this cupboard with all the junk in it. This is just an analogy that you've not been looking at, or the wounds inside of you that you've not been looking at, and you know that the root of your issues is that thing, right? Well, I'm pulling that up now, and I'm clearing out stuff. I'm repairing things, and I'm looking at it and seeing, do I want that anymore? Do I need that anymore? I'm getting old stuff that I liked, and I'm fixing those things up. So this vintage mirror that I've got behind me from the 1950s, I had to repair it and do some gilding on it and things like that. And there's little things that I've made, old photographs that were not in photo frames that I've found, and I've put them back together. I've had to buy some new furniture. I've had to throw out old furniture. I've had to, and this all takes time, donating furniture to places, waiting for people to come and pick those things up, getting rid of the old fridge, and, it's all taking time, especially when you don't have the space, and it's a little home, it's a little cottage, and I'm happy, I'm so happy, and my daughter is happy, and even down to diet. So, having my daughter with autism, there's a lot of you out there know that for yourselves, if you've got children who have special needs or are on the spectrum, that they might benefit from a certain diet. But how do you overhaul the family's diet in order to get them off certain foods if the routine has been, oh, they just always eat bread in the morning, or they eat oatmeal or whatever, and that they're going to benefit from a different diet? that has to be overhauled, you see, and that's the stuff that's happening right now for me. So, I wrote see if I can find it. I wrote a um, a post on Telegram, and if I can find my other phone, I'll be able to read it to you. And this kind of gives you an idea of the things that I've been going through. And a lot of people really responded very well to this post. I put it on all my social media, and a lot of people really responded to it. But this sums up what I've been going through, and then I'll end the video there. But I wrote it the other day, and I thought I'd post it yesterday. Everybody loved it, so I just wrote, "Hello everyone. I have been completely engrossed in overhauling my entire life, down to reorganizing and consolidating even my spice rack. Not kidding. Cleaning, decluttering, donating, reorganizing, reshuffling, renovating, building, reevaluating, reassessing. It is the season for retrogrades and looking to the past to assess how far you have come and where you are going. I am actually the happiest I've ever been in my life, and really so grateful. The only thing I regret is not being able to have the time to genuinely connect and respond to all of you and to create more content. That is literally my only regret. I think about you all every single day, and as I sift through my things, I am flooded with beautiful memories of my audience, the connections we have made with one another, and the innovations and inspirations we have made together. This is all part of Ascension, the real grassroots work, a practical awakening. The looking back and reevaluating, the consolidating of your spice rack and your medicine cabinet, the wardrobe overhaul, and the realizations of perhaps spending too much money, energy, on useless things that cause feelings of regret. This is life. There's no magical, mystical event. There's no spaceship to alleviate your woes. No savior, super president to teach the bad guys all a collective lesson. It's us. It's just us in the trenches, sifting through our shit on the inside and the outside. It's us, reuniting with long-lost loved ones. It's us, making amends with people we always loved and cared about. It's us, digging deep into our core wounds, stirring that shit up to the surface, muddying that water, making a mess, taking a good hard look at ourselves and throwing out the shit that no longer serves us. It's us. We have each other. We are each of us working on our lives, our ordinary human lives, and working out what serves us and what doesn't. It gets boring, it gets messy, but it's always real. This is what I am doing in my own private life when I feel I am away from you all. And I do this because as I climb out of this pool of self-reflection, I come back better and better each time to present to you jewels of hope and encouragement that I have felt and learned and integrated in myself. Thank you for sticking around. And in the meantime, be gentle on yourself as you unpack and evaluate and overhaul in your ascension process. I'll see you all later.